Washington, D.C. residents showed up, said this is our city, and held powerful protests against the Trump regime, specifically against Donald Trump's fascist takeover of the Metropolitan Police Department under the false pretext that there is a massive crime wave taking place in Washington, D.C. Hey, Donald, you should really be focused on those red states and red cities because the crime rate there significantly higher, and crime is dropping, by the way, significantly in Washington, D.C. Donald Trump is also sending in the National Guard to Washington, D.C., and Trump said he'll be sending in other military forces into Washington, D.C. Let me show you some of my favorite signs from the protest right here. Trump's lying about D.C. to distract you from the Epstein files. Release the Epstein files. And then a cartoon of Trump saying, nothing to see here, folks. And then there's this sign, D.C. says freedom, not fascism, or signs like this, no Trump Gestapo in D.C. Let me show you another camera angle of those protests. Tens of thousands of protesters showed up in D.C. making the powerful point that you don't scare us, Donald Trump. Here, play this clip.
Free D.C. Free D.C. Free D.C. Free D.C. Protect all rule. Protect all rule. Protect all rule.
Then protesters went right in front of the White House. And as you know, Donald Trump intends to demolish the east wing of the White House in September to build a 90,000 square foot golden ballroom. And we don't know where the funding is coming from or who's funded the architectural plans to date. Watch the protesters directly in front of the White House. Play this clip.
Whose house is this? Whose house is this?
Now, here's another group of protesters rallying in downtown Washington, D.C. Here, play this clip.
Trump must go now. Trump must go now. Trump must go now. Trump must go now. Trump must go now.
Now, they were protesting, of course, Donald Trump's incompetent authoritarian regime. Donald Trump held a press conference earlier in the day saying, I'm very competent. I'm competent. I can pull this off because I'm the most competent person. Here, play this clip.
And that we will deliver like nobody's ever delivered before. I actually think it's easy. You know, if you're competent, it's easy. If you're incompetent, it's impossible. But I'm very competent.
And then Donald Trump seemed to suggest that one of the reasons that he wanted the National Guard in D.C. and why he was taking over the Metropolitan Police Department had something to do with the golden ballroom that he's building in Washington, D.C. And he makes it about himself. You know, in my spare time, I like to build things. I have a great eye for these things. Dude, you've turned the White House into a weird gold-looking bordello. It looks very odd. Here, play this clip.
We're going to add to it. You see what we've done at the White House is a whole different building. I do that in my part-time because it's a natural instinct as a real estate person. I was very good at that, and I was very good at fixing things up. I like fixing things up. You see what's happening. The marble floors are being reinstalled, renovated, fixed. The whole place is becoming very beautiful. We're going to be adding a magnificent ballroom, most beautiful ballroom, I think, anywhere. We need it. I would have certainly loved to have had it today. I think we would have filled it up. A lot of you are standing outside, can't get in this room. I've never seen the room like this.
And by the way, Donald Trump's entire grifting family just showing what utter grifters they are. This was Lara Trump yesterday singing Tom Petty, I Won't Back Down at Trump's golf club. Here, play this clip. Meanwhile, you had the Homeland Security Department, after posting Defend Our Culture, join ICE, and saying that 18-year-olds without any college degree could join ICE. Also, no age caps as well for ICE. They then post this. We can return. View from the Hotel Continental, Washington, D.C., circa 1943. You want America to become 1943 again? I mean, what the hell are you even talking about? But then Donald Trump said, one of the reasons I'm doing this, why I'm taking over the Metropolitan Police Department and why I'm putting in the National Guard is to appease Putin, Donald Trump says. He goes, I'm just so embarrassed that when I'm going to see Putin, that he sees how disgusting Washington, D.C. is. So when I see Putin and Donald Trump says, I'll be meeting Putin in Russia. Donald Trump believes Alaska is in Russia. He goes, I'm going to have to put the police, I'm going to have to take over the police in D.C. Here, play this clip.
This is a tragic emergency. And it's embarrassing for me to be up here. You know, I'm going to see Putin. I'm going to Russia on Friday. I don't like being up here talking about how unsafe and how dirty and disgusting this once beautiful capital was, with graffiti all over the walls.
And by the way, Donald Trump's entire press conference devolved into literally spewing Russian propaganda talking points. I mean, you had Donald Trump also attacking Zelensky for Zelensky saying that under the Ukrainian constitution, Zelensky would not be able to give up territory without it being a decision by the Ukrainian people. That Zelensky said, Donald Trump, you can't just give away our land to Putin. That made Donald Trump upset, he said. Here, play this clip of Donald Trump saying he was upset. Here, play this clip.
I was a little bothered by the fact that Zelensky was saying, well, I have to get constitutional approval. I mean, he's got approval to go into war and kill everybody, but he needs approval to do a land swap, because there'll be some land swapping going on. I know that through Russia and through conversations with everybody, to the good, for the good of Ukraine. Good stuff, not bad stuff. Also, some bad stuff for both. So there's good and there's bad. But it's very complex because you have lines that are very uneven, and there'll be some swapping, there'll be some changes in land, and the word that they will use is, they make changes. We're going to change the lines, the battle lines.
I mean, by the way, it was Putin talking point after talking point at that press conference. Donald Trump was saying, I don't know that general who led the initial invasion by Putin against Ukraine, but knowing Vladimir, that general probably won't be around. Donald Trump says 88% of Ukrainians want to see a deal happen with Putin where the land is given up to Russia. False, false. Trump said that he would allow the normalization of trade relations between Russia and the United States after a peace agreement concluded. Russia has occupied some prime territory. We will try to get some of that territory back for Ukraine. Ukraine is drafting 60-year-olds now. Putin is coming to our country as opposed to us coming to his country. Quite literally, Putin talking point after Putin talking point right there. Prime Minister Carney of Canada. Actually defending democracy, defending Ukraine. He called Zelensky yesterday and said, we agree that decisions on the future of Ukraine must be made by Ukrainians, that international borders cannot be changed by force, and that diplomatic engagement must be reinforced by continued pressure on Russia and its aggression. We also underscored the need for robust and credible security to enable Ukraine to defend its territorial integrity and sovereignty. And then President Zelensky wrote, I spoke with Prime Minister Mark Carney. I'm grateful for Canada's support for Ukraine and our people, and I informed him about all the details of the diplomatic work and the constant communication with our partners. We see it the same way, and it's obvious the Russians simply want to buy time, not end the war. The situation on the battlefield and Russia's wicked strikes on civilian infrastructure and ordinary people prove this clearly right here. Oh, then you had RFK Jr. Attacking the former Surgeon General Jerome Adams because Jerome Adams criticized RFK Jr. for defunding all vaccine research and all research into mRNA vaccines. And RFK Jr. thinks that he knows more than the renowned scientist, the renowned former Surgeon General Jerome Adams. Here, play this clip.
The Health and Human Services Secretary faces criticism over significant workforce reductions at the CDC and announced cuts in federal funding of mRNA vaccine development. Among the critics, Jerome Adams, who served as Surgeon General during the first Trump administration's rapid deployment of COVID vaccines through Operation Warp Speed.
People are going to die because we're cutting short funding for this technology.
I would say he's misinformed and that he's not reading the scientific literature. We should not be targeting upper-level respiratory infections with this application.
Then yesterday, Donald Trump announced that he was nominating E.J. Antoni as the next commissioner of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Quite literally the worst possible pick. E.J. Antoni was one of the leaders from the Heritage Foundation, Project 2025. This guy is a hack economist. He's 5 years after his PhD. He literally does not know how to read the most basic tariff graphs and charts, and he's just going to do whatever Donald Trump wants. So as Brendan Peterson says, Trump makes the nomination of E.J. Antoni to lead the Bureau of Labor Statistics official after firing the last commissioner over the job report revisions. Antoni is the chief economist at the Heritage Foundation, but Jason Furman goes, I don't think I have ever publicly criticized any presidential nominee before, but E.J. Antoni is completely unqualified to be BLS commissioner. He's an extreme partisan and does not have any relevant expertise. He would be a break from decades of nonpartisan technocrats. Joey Palanto writes, an economist so dumb, E.J. Antoni is, I had to explain to him how the import price index works last month will now lead the BLS. It kills me. So E.J. Antoni posted on social media, import prices just came in way below expectation. And then Joey Palatano goes, the import price index measures pre-tariff prices. The fact that pre-tariff prices are basically flat means Americans are paying the tariffs, though I wouldn't expect a Heritage Foundation guy like yourself to be smart enough to understand basic stuff like that. And from all of the sources that I know, they said that this E.J. Antoni guy is the worst of the worst. He will pursue disinformation and literally like the worst partisan person you can pick for this job. People have said to me, Ben, you don't even fully realize how bad this guy is going to be and how the data can never be trusted again under the Trump regime and this Heritage Foundation hack who's just focused on implementing Project 2025. Dan Coe explains the following too. This move by Donald Trump to take over Washington, D.C.'s police is just the next step in his march for total control of the press, universities, lawyers, federal workers, now the cities. Oh, and to distract from Jeffrey Epstein, of course. You can't cut your way to safety. Trump's not fighting crime. He is enabling crime. And by the way, Trump is a criminal. I mean, Trump is a felon. He's a fraud. Trump is also a sexual abuser. Trump is a massive, massive humiliation to our country. Oh, Palanto says about E.J. Antoni as well. Never worked in statistics collection. 5 years out of his PhD. He's only ever written one economics paper. His explicit only qualifications are that he works in ultra-conservative think tanks and believes Trump's conspiracies about BLS. Grim stuff. Oh, but Donald Trump has an announcement, everybody. Donald Trump says that there will be no tariffs on gold. There will be no tariffs on, that's what everybody was top of mind, no tariffs on gold. But Donald, I thought you said that the country eats the tariff. So why would people even worry about that if the consumer doesn't pay for it? Oh, wait a minute. When it comes to gold, that's how you feel right there. And it should also be noted that Donald Trump moved former President Obama's portrait to below a hidden steps or a hidden staircase. As Governor Newsom says, small men hide from history's giants. Small men hide from history's giants. So true, so true. Everybody hit subscribe, help us get to 6 million, and thank you for watching.
New Meidas merch drop! Check out the latest pro-democracy sticker packs, t-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, and more, all at store.meidastouch.com.